Tonight's big stories. The PSA reports that the poverty rate in the first half of the year declined, though that means some 25 million Filipinos still can't afford basic needs.
We'll be speaking with Senator Francis Tolentino about why he resigned from the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, as well as what's happening with the maritime zone law meant to help us stake our claim in the West Philippine Sea.
And Senator Robin Padilla hit the National Telecommunications Commission over the supposed lack of due process with SMNI suspension. We will be speaking with NTC Deputy Commissioner John Paulo Salvajan about this later in the show.
Good evening and welcome to the show. I'm Regina.
I'm Maricel Halili.
And I'm Shawn.
We end this week on a somber note. A year-end report from the PSA found out over 25 million Filipinos are still living in poverty. So that translates to a poverty rate of 22.4% in the first half of 2023. That's a slight decrease from the 23.7% posted in the same period in 2021, but still equivalent to over 25 million Filipinos that live below the poverty line. Those who are food poor or those whose income is not enough to buy basic food needs was 8.7% of the population, or almost 9.8 million Filipinos. Now, how exactly is this measured? Well, the PSA based these on the poverty threshold, or the computed income per month of a family of 5 that's deemed enough for them to meet their basic food and non-food needs. For the first half of 2023, that was 13,797 pesos per month. It means those whose income are lower than that are already considered poor. The PSA attributed the decrease in poverty rate to ramped up economic activity following the pandemic, which led to more jobs. But NEDA admits that not every Filipino will have a Merry Christmas this year, as the number of poor Filipinos remains high.
Malaki pa rin yung number of poor people that could not meet those. So to say that everybody can have not a very nice, maybe exaggeration, because we do know that there are many people around us who remain to be poor, and they deserve our utmost attention.
How timely is this report? It is 2 days before Christmas, and this is such a big reality check for us. Na kahit na tayo hindi nagugutom, the numbers have it almost one-fourth.
Nag-decrease slightly, pero marami pa rin.
Ang dami pa rin. And when you think about it, 22.4% of the population, that's almost one-fourth of all Filipinos, hindi okay. And possibly, hindi sila maka-afford ng Noche Buena.
Correct. Pero parang ang hirap paniwalaan na 14,000 pesos yung kanilang standard para ma-identify whether a family is considered poor or not. Kahit na sabihin mo maging 15,000 yan, monthly income for a family of 5,
that's still a stretch.
Exactly, di ba? Paano ka bibili ng Noche Buena sa ganung halaga?
So, your point is, medyo mababa nga yung budget. So, parang medyo sobrang conservative pa nung numbers. The real numbers could actually be higher.
Correct.
Yeah.
Most likely higher. Imagine if the threshold was 15 or even 16,000, right?
Or kahit ilagay mo sa 20.
Kahit 20,000, mahirap pa rin. For a family of 5?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, NEDA says they are addressing this issue through a number of programs. The Programang Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino, Trabaho para sa Bayan, and the Walang Gutom 2027 Food Stamp Program.
Alright, so I understand at maya-maya may report tayo about that food stamp program. Pero again, napasa na nga yung budget, and for next year, we have 500 billion, half a trillion pesos for social programs or social amelioration programs. I mean, it's good that they up the social welfare aspect of the budget, but para I don't think yan yung talagang permanent solution sa mga problema natin.
I think it's more of employment.
Correct.
And yung salary, decent salary.
Decent salary.
To keep up with inflation.
Exactly.
Kasi
6%
na inflation.
Kahit nga yung mga earning well above that 20,000, umaaray na no, sa taas ng inflation. Now, like we said, there has been some improvement. The DSWD, for one, has already added more beneficiaries to its food stamp program. Now, that program is targeting to cover some 3,000 beneficiaries in Metro Manila and other provinces in its 6-month pilot implementation. These beneficiaries are households considered food poor or those whose income is only at 8,000 pesos per month or less. These families will be receiving electronic benefit transfers or EBT cards that contain 3,000 pesos, which can be used to purchase food in all DSWD accredited merchants. And one of these accredited stores is located in Metro Manila or in Tondo, Manila, where some beneficiaries have already purchased food for Noche Buena earlier today. Aside from food, this program also encourages beneficiaries to join trainings and job programs under the Labor Department and TESDA.
So habang binibigyan natin sila ng buwelo, dapat nagtatrabaho sila. Kaya nga ang exit natin sa kanila dapat 3 years, 2 to 3 years tapos na sila sa programa. Kasi by that time, nag-stabilize na dapat. May trabaho na, may kinikita na.
Now, the food stamp program is among the administration's flagship programs that took effect through President Marcos's Executive Order 44. This was given an initial budget of 2 billion pesos under the General Appropriations Act for next year. And if it proves successful, the program will be expanded to reach a target of 1 million beneficiaries by 2027. Pero ganun pa rin, no? Kahit na 1 million yung beneficiaries mo, sobrang mas maraming millions of Filipinos who are still considered poor by the government's own definition.
That covers that handout only covers a fraction of the population that need aid, basically.
So basically, 8,000 pesos or less ang kinikita per family to be able to qualify for the food stamp program.
Bigas pa lang eh.
Yes,
Magkano na?
it's true.
Diba? Paano pa pag nilagyan mo ng ulam? Magsabaw ka na lang.
Sabaw ka na. Anak. So meron ba kayong I think mas professional kayo than me in terms of managing a household. May mga Noche Buena hacks ba tayong natutunan?
Actually, may binigay na tips yung ilang mga experts on how to manage yung mga Noche Buena items natin para makapag-prepare naman kahit papano on December 24. I think sa atin kasi tradition natin, mga Filipinos, we usually have spaghetti.
Yes,
Diba?
of course.
Pero, of course, kapag ka medyo tight ang budget, pwede tayo maghanap ng ibang noodles.
Actually,
So,
since ako, I don't know about you, Reg, but since Filipino-Chinese kami, kahit anong noodles pwede. Hindi lang siya kailangan spaghetti. Pwede ka magbihon, pwede ka kahit ano, basta
Sotanghon.
ganun
Kasi
yung
mas
hugis.
mura ang bihon, that's
Mas
true.
mura ang bihon.
Oo. Oy, pero may mura na rin na spaghetti, yung nakapack na siya. Di ba yung noodles plus sauce? Kung talaga
kasama
nagtitipid
na.
ka, okay na yon. Tapos inidin mo. Pipili ka na lang ng brand na
Okay.
cheaper.
Anong masarap?
Okay, so number
mura
one,
pa talaga.
instead of spaghetti, ibang type of noodles na lang. Okay.
Why not?
That's a good idea, actually. Oh, gluten-free pa yung
Gluten-free yung bihon. Oo. Ngayon, uso na ngayon, no? Gluten intolerance.
Healthier
Oh,
pa. Exactly.
healthier.
Tapos may tip rin, no, si Steven Kua ng Philippine Amalgamated Supermarket. Sabi niya, last minute kayo mag-shopping kasi marami ring mga kumpanya naghahabol daw ng sale. So, true enough, kanina, nag-last minute shopping na naman ako. Mas marami na ngang items on sale. Natatempt nga ako bumili kahit di ko naman kailangan. So, kailangan magtimpe. Pero yun yung isang tip niya. Since naghahabol sila ng sales, baka daw magbigay sila ng last-minute discounts.
Actually, merong mga, usually sa stores, sa mga grocery stores, may makita ka rin na isang stall doon na nakalagay yung mga sale items, di ba? Yung mga bargain. So, yun yung kailangan din nilang bantayan.
Oo, yun
Baka
lang
may
yung-
makita sila mga buy one, take one.
Oo, correct. And usually daw, yung mga yun, malapit na mag-expire. Pero kung gagamitin mo na naman in 2 days, well within the expiration date pa rin. So, yung mga life
Hindi ko
hacks.
pa mapapasama.
Oo nga, actually, no, dapat pala si Faith na lang tinanong natin dahil Faith Del Mundo of News 5 also tried na pagkasyahin ang 1,000 peso budget.
Ooh, the 1,000 peso
Kasya ba
challenge.
yun?
Masaya tong mga 1,000 peso challenge. Remember that?
Oo.
Now, she was joined by a proper chef, Liz Montealegre. Kaya daw pagkasyahin ang meals na ginawa nila for a family of 4, 1,000 pesos. Meron daw creamy chicken spaghetti, 212 pesos lang for the ingredients. Butter, salt, pepper,
Uy, that's a lot,
all-purpose cream. Oo nga pasta, sauce, and cheese. So, 212 pesos. Now, ito mukhang sosyal fish fillet and lemon garlic. Ang kasama dyan na sangkap, flour, salt, pepper, cream dory, garlic, and lemon juice. Total niya, 278 pesos. Ang chicken steak with gravy naman, butter, marinated chicken breast fillet, soy sauce, at mushrooms for 288 pesos. And for dessert, fresh fruit cup. containing 2 apples, 2 pears, melon, and sugar. 120 pesos lang. So, 3 main courses and 1 dessert, 900 pesos. And may sukli ka pang 100 pesos pang soft drinks.
Why not? O kaya hingi ka na lang sa kapitbahay, baka meron sila mga puno.
Oh, that's also a good tip. That's also a good hack.
Free pa.
Oo.
But you know, what won't be going down before the year ends? Fuel prices. Based on the DOE's projections, prices of gasoline and diesel are seen to go up next week by 1 peso and 40 centavos to 1 peso and 60 centavos. A big-time increase is also expected for kerosene, 1 peso and 60 centavos to 1 peso and 80 centavos a liter. The Energy Department's Oil Industry Management Bureau attributes this to a surge in global prices as companies halt shipments through the Red Sea. Rebels had been attacking vessels in the area in recent weeks. But here's some good news naman. The DOE sees no shortage in the supply of electricity even with the threat of El Nino. Still, as a precautionary measure, power plants are undergoing maintenance and repairs. Hospitals, blood banks, and facilities have also been identified that will need backups in case of a brownout.
Hindi po natin sinasabing straightforward, walang blackout. Pero ang sinasabi po natin, lahat po ng mitigating measures ay naihanda na natin at pinaghandaan po natin ang lahat ng pwedeng mangyari para po hindi po maantala ang ating serbisyo ng kuryente.
Up next!
Kasi kailangan na natin talaga magpagas dahil nga tataas yung presyo. Usually Tuesday ng 6 a.m. yan. So pag mag-out of town kayo, magpagas na kayo dahil kanina, remind ako nung driver ko na kailangan namin magpagas. Tapos turbo diesel yung karga ko eh. Sabi wala na raw turbo diesel. Pero sabi ng driver ko sa akin, ako ma'am, meron yan. Pero ayaw nila ibenta hanggang Tuesday next week. So naghanap pa kami ng gasolinahan. So mag-load up na kayo habang maaga pa. Avoid the rush.
Okay. Up next, we'll be joined by outgoing Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Francis Tolentino to talk about his proposed amendments to rules for contempt, among others. Stay with us.
You're still watching Big Story here in One News. Cited in contempt, that's a phrase we heard in a number of Senate hearings this year, and now there is a proposal to amend the rules for contempt to accommodate appeals from resource speakers and witnesses. Former Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Francis Tolentino filed this the resolution on this based on a recent Supreme Court ruling which found grave abuse of discretion on the side of the Senate when it cited in contempt and ordered the arrest of family executives. The Supreme Court said witnesses should be given a chance to be heard before a contempt order is issued. Here to shed more light on that resolution, among other issues, we have on the show Senator Francis Tolentino. He's joining us over the line. Good evening, Senator. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to your program and your viewers as well. Good evening.
Sorry, I should correct myself. Hindi pa naman former, no? Outgoing pa lang.
Opo, hindi pa ex.
Let's address that first. You've already said that you're resigning to prepare for your re-election bid.
No, the exact gist is that I'm stepping down in compliance with an agreement.
Yes, a gentleman's
and my
agreement.
intention is really to comply with an agreement. And it's been an honor to serve the Blue Ribbon. And for me, the pledge done before should be fulfilled.
So it's not because you're preparing for re-election?
No. There was an agreement before
Okay.
that I would stay with as a chairman of the Blue Ribbon for 1.5 years, as well as a member of the Commission on Appointments for 1.5 years.
May we
So
ask,
I'm honoring the
Senator?
agreement.
May we ask with who you have this agreement with? Are you
The
willing to share?
the Senate leadership.
The Senate leadership. Okay, so is this
Yes.
some sort of term sharing, or is it
No, it is not. The chairmanship of the Blue Ribbon would have to be decided by the majority. So when I step down, once I step down, they would have to elect a new chairman. So I'm honoring an agreement.
Okay, sorry. Sir, can you tell us, pwede ba nating balikan yung agreement na yan? Ano yung logic, yung wisdom behind this agreement? Why is there a need for this agreement? And sinong papalit sa inyo?
Yung papalit po sa akin kung sino yung ma-elect. The logic is this. The logic is during those days, kailangan mabuo na yung mga committees. And to hit the ground running and in support of the Senate administration, pumayag po tayo na tayo po yung maging Blue Ribbon chairman. On the condition that it will be for half the term.
Sino pong frontrunner ng replacement niyo? I understand that you already said there will be an election, but are there, frontrunners?
Hindi ko po masabi. Lahat naman po qualified. Lahat po capable. Lahat po makakatulong as chairman of the Blue Ribbon.
Are there a lot of people who want to step up and take over this committee?
Hindi ko po masabi, pero lahat po qualified. And I'm willing to help during the transition.
Okay,
So
and
what-
then having said that, Senator, dito lang ba sa committees nyo magkakaroon ng ganitong balasahan, or may iba pong committees din ba where we can expect na magbabago rin yung mga leadership ng mga chairmanships?
Hindi ko po masabi yan. Ang alam ko lang po yung sa Blue Ribbon yung sa akin.
Okay.
So anong committee na,
At
sir?
saka isa pang dahilan dyan, ano pang committee matitira sa akin? Yung Committee on Justice and Human Rights at yung bagong create po na committee na ako po yung chairman, yung Senate Special Committee on Maritime and Admiralty Zone, which I consider very crucial and important as we go through the challenges facing us as a nation in confronting West Philippine Sea issues.
Yeah, last night, sabi nga ni Senator JV, we asked him, kamusta na yung Maritime Zones Act, where is it at? Sabi niya, di ba, kakausapin niyo si Senator Francis Tolentino bukas. Siya yung itanong niyo dahil siya yung in charge of that. So, sir, we'll ask you right
Yes.
now, when can we see it? You said before it would be finished by the end of this year. Obviously, you're on recess na.
Yes, we're on recess and we'll be reconvening on January 22. So siguro ito baka mid-February.
Mid-February.
Pero if you look at the history of this, 30 years in the making na po ito. It should have been done 30 years ago.
Okay.
Senator, help us understand how a maritime zone law can help us assert our rights in the West Philippine Sea,
Yes.
even if China refuses to this day to recognize the arbitral ruling. How will this help?
Yeah. Number one, the maritime zones law will enable us to implement, even partially, the 2016 arbitral ruling. Kasi ang sinasabi ng China, hindi niya naman may implement yan. By enacting a law, we are implementing it. Because we will be announcing to the whole world, and we will be depositing a copy of that law to the UNCLOS, to the United Nations, saan ba yung hangganan natin. It will be recognized by all countries except China. Number two, with the maritime zones law, we will be fortifying our claims, our rights, pursuant to UNCLOS and the 2016 arbitral ruling. Number three, ang kinukutsa sa atin ng China ever since, wala nga kayong maritime zones law. Bakit nyo sinasabing sa inyo yan? So mapatunayan natin ngayon, meron tayong maritime zones law. And the maritime zones law will not just encompass the West Philippine Sea. It will even include the Philippine Rise, the Benham Rise, on the other side of the Pacific. So mas encompassing po itong maritime zone law dahil maipapakita natin yung hangganan ng ating karagatan.
Alright, nung unang pinag-usapan nitong Maritime Zone Law and Maritime Zone Act, bali-balita, there were efforts to consult some academics from China, specifically from Beijing. Were you able to do that? And if so, ano pong klaseng mga insights ang nakuha natin mula sa kanila?
Hindi na po natin nagawa yun kasi hindi naman sila nag-participate. Pero ito pong Maritime Zone Law, nung 1982, nung sinimulan po ni Senator Arturo Tolentino, yung Archipelagic Doctrine, dapat ito na po yung kabuntot, ito na po yung kasunod. Hindi lang po ito natuloy, dumaan yung 3 dekada, kaya minarapat pong kailangan ilabas na po natin ngayon.
But, sir, anong posisyon ng Senate when it comes to calls for joint patrols? I understand there are a lot of experts, sectors who are calling for joint patrols to help us protect our territory.
Yes.
And meron ding efforts, I understand, na magkaroon ng RAA sa Japan, which I understand by next year yung target. So, yes,
you
sir,
are
go
both
ahead.
correct. The implementation of joint patrol, RAA with Japan or even Australia, would show that we have sovereign rights, that we exercise rights pursuant to UNCLOS, because we can implement something in pursuit of our national interest na wala po makakahadlang. Lahat po yan ay nagpapatunay na meron po tayong karapatan at meron po tayong sinasandalang international law, which is UNCLOS, at sa susunod po, masasabi natin, ito po ay alinsunod din sa ating maritime zone law na ating binabalangkas ngayon.
And how far are we from achieving this RAA with Japan, sir? And kailangan pa ba natin ng iba pang mga legislation to have joint patrols with other countries?
Yung RAA po will need the concurrence and ratification of the Senate because it will be a treaty. The joint patrols can be pursuant to existing agreements with other countries. So lahat po ito ay magpapatibay sa ating karapatan at magpupuno ng ating kakulangan.
Alright, bukod sa mga nabanggit natin at napag-usapan natin, meron pa ba kayong ibang bills or laws or resolutions na tinitignan as early as now in order to further assert our claim over our territorial waters or EEZ?
Ang kasunod po niya yung Archipelagic Sea Lanes. No? My Archipelagic Sea Lanes law would really specify the exact lanes wherein foreign as well as domestic ships can fly, can pass. So ngayon po, wala yan. Bara-bara po kahit saan dumaan. So magde-designate po tayo ng sea lanes kung saan lang pwedeng dumaan to prevent accidents. Ang dami pong banggaan sa mga fishermen natin, to strengthen our customs law, to ensure safety and as well as to exercise complete maritime domain within our shores.
Okay, Senator, before we let you go, I just have to ask you about this since we've asked all the other senator. What is your position on economic cha-cha? Potentially, the House may push for constitutional change next year. Ano yung position natin?
Since 2019, I'm in favor.
In favor of economic cha-cha or just cha-cha in
Yes,
general?
in favor of economic cha-cha because it should help alleviate our economic condition. Especially when we talk about West Philippine Sea, sino ba yung pwedeng makatulong para exploit our seabed mineral resources? Hindi naman po natin kaya lahat yon. We don't have gap na kailangan ng ating bansa.
Actually, one last question, Senator, since ito yung nasa balita ngayon, no? Itong contempt law na file
Alin
ninyo
po
to
yun?
amend, yung contempt po, yung pag-cite in contempt.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, ano po yung nag-udyok sa inyo na baguhin to? Of course, we already know and it's been reported it was the Supreme Court ruling no dun sa nangyari nga sa Farmally. Pero can you tell us a bit more about what you're trying to push for?
Even before the Farmally decision came out, ginagawa na po natin yon. During my time as Blue Ribbon Committee Chair, kung napapanood niyo po yon, pinapayagan po natin yung mga witnesses, mga persons under investigation to file a legal brief or memorandum for the first time. Number two, we made it a point to respect the rights of witnesses. Number three, we made it a point to make our hearings time-bound. May hangganan. So nung lumabas po yung Farmally decision na hindi raw po ginagalang yung karapatan ng ilang testigo, minarapat po natin, and just the other day, nag-file po tayo ng resolution to amend the rules in compliance with the Supreme Court decision to enable witnesses and persons under investigation to have that right to answer before being cited in contempt. And it is just formalizing and adopting the Supreme Court decision, although there is a separation of powers doctrine, to make it jive with what is really needed. Respect the rights of witnesses, adapt due process, not just substantively, but even procedurally.
Noted,
Okay.
sir.
We'll follow that resolution as it makes its way through Senate. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. That was Senator
Maraming salamat
Francis.
po and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry
Senator
Christmas.
Francis
Thank you, sir.
Tolentino.
All right, we're going to pause for a quick break. Right after that, was SMNI deprived of due process when the NTC suspended it for 30 days without a hearing? We will be speaking to NTC Deputy Commissioner John Paulo Salvajan about this when the big story returns. Keep it here.
Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here in One News.
Senator Robin Padilla plans to submit a resolution addressing the alleged lack of due process in the National Telecommunications Commission's decision to suspend SMNI for 30 days. Padilla, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Information and Mass Media, said, quote, the NTC in its show cause and suspension order failed to indicate the need to suspend the operations of the SMNI, much more express how this is necessary to avoid serious and irreparable damage or inconvenience to the public or to private interests. Padilla said that he plans to formally file the resolution when Senate resumes sessions in January. The PDP Laban wing, chaired by former President Rodrigo Duterte, also slammed the 30-day suspension of SMNI. In a statement, PDP Laban Secretary General Attorney Amy Torrefranca Neri said, quote, the successive moves by two government agencies without due process against a legitimate and established media entity in the country is the first time this has happened in our history. She added that it is clear proof that the right to press freedom is clearly under threat in the Philippines.
To talk us through this decision, we have with us live via Zoom NTC Deputy Commissioner John Paulo Salvajan. Good evening, Deputy Commissioner, and thank you for joining us tonight. Unahan ko na, medyo nalilito kasi kami sa pagkaka-order ng mga bagay-bagay. Bakit po magkasabay yung show cause order at saka yung suspension order, and January 4 pa yung hearing, administrative hearing?
Yes, good evening, Ms. Shawn, Ms. Maricel, and Ms. Regina. Regarding your question on the issuance of the show cause order together with the 30-day suspension order, we issued the date of the show cause order and 30-day suspension order was December 19. It was served on Suara Sub Media Corporation yesterday, December 21. And you're correct that in that show cause order, there's a 30-day suspension order pursuant to Section 16N of the Public Service Act. In that provision kasi, it is stated that the Commission is authorized for good cause to suspend the operations of a network even prior to a hearing. So we use that provision that the basis of the suspension is that provision under the Public Service Act.
But isn't it unusual to issue a suspension order alongside with or immediately after a show cause order? Because hindi ba po usually you issue show cause order, give them a chance to defend themselves, and then if it doesn't meet your standards, that's when you suspend?
No, kasi here in the NTC, that's the usual process. No, we normally issue show cause orders even together with cease and desist orders when there are reported violations or operations of illegal operations of network entities or broadcast entities. In fact, this is not the first time that the NTC has issued a show cause order together with the suspension order.
Alright, so just to clarify, this is all based, so yung grounds ito is Section 16 of the Public Services Act, which is that the NTC is authorized on good cause.
Yes, for good cause. The suspension aspect of the order.
So, sir, ipupush ko lang yon. So, does it mean that you follow the due process? Kasi I think this is one of the concerns of Senator Padilla in his statement na parang hindi nasunod yung due process.
This is in a way po, this is similar to a preventive suspension, wherein the suspension is not really a penalty, but it's merely to prevent any further escalation of the situation. So that is the reason why it's similar to like in labor disputes wherein employees may be preventively suspended even during the pendency of a hearing. This is similar to that. In fact, there's a reason why the administrative hearing will proceed pending the administrative hearing will still be heard even though the suspension, the preventive suspension order has already been issued.
Okay, pero di ba kayo, parang, how do I phrase this, Deputy Commissioner? You're basing this all on the House resolution, which was calling on you guys to suspend them muna habang magaganap yung mga hearing both in the House and in the NTC. So, would it be right for me to assume that, kumbaga, you decided to take the House's advice based on Resolution 1499?
We assessed the House resolution independently. There was a determination among the commissioners of the National Telecommunications Commission. There was a extensive discussion on it. And then after that deliberation, we decided collectively to issue that suspension order together with the show cause. No, and you're right. There was a resolution that was filed to us, the resolution number 189. It urged the NTC to suspend the operations based on 3 alleged violations of the franchise of Suarasug Media Corporation. But we want to be clear of it that this administrative hearing before the National Telecommunications Commission pertains to the authorities, to the permits and licenses issued by the NTC to Suarasug Media Corporation. It does not relate to the franchise of Suarasug Media Corporation.
All right, thanks for clearing that up. So, last question na lang on this particular issue. Yung administrative hearing on January 4, what is going to happen in that hearing exactly? Since you mentioned na medyo nag-meeting na kayo, no, before you handed down this show cause order / suspension order, ano po yung pag-uusapan? Yun na ba yung talagang hearing with representatives from Suarasug? Yun ba yung magyayari sa Jan 4, Deputy Commissioner?
Yes, that is correct po. The show cause order also directs the Suarasug Media Corporation to file their written answer within 15 days from receipt of the order, as well as to appear during that administrative hearing so that they could support whatever allegations or arguments that they have and present their own evidence also.
Sir, pwede na ba akong kumambyo sa ibang issue? Because
Wait,
it's holiday
sorry,
Yeah,
one last question
okay,
on this.
one last question.
The other criticism of this is that 30 days now is too severe a penalty to shut down a whole company based on violations of, well, we know that the MTRCB has already suspended the 2 shows that are in question at the moment. Talk us through the decision-making process behind deciding on 30 days.
Yes, as mentioned, no, the legal basis for this is 16N, which allows the commission naman po to issue that suspension order for a period of 30 days. So we used that provision as basis po talaga for issuing the suspension order.
Wala nang shorter suspension window, essentially. Yun na yung shortest, 30 days.
No, that's the maximum po. It could be any period shorter than that, but that's the maximum period, 30 days.
So talk me through why you chose to impose the maximum penalty for them.
For this one po kasi, so that at least pending the administrative hearing or before they could answer, at least that situation would no longer escalate po, no? Or there would be no further allegations, or at least to prevent any further influence po.
Pero nasuspenda ng MTRCB yung 2 shows na, kumbaga, yung pinupuntiriyang 2 show, gikan sa Masa para sa Masa, and yung kay Lorraine Badoy at saka yung kay Jeffrey Celis. So, is that not enough na pinarusahan na sila at pinatawan na ng suspension ng MTRCB? And also, how would these suspensions overlap?
Yung jurisdiction po kasi ng MTRCB is different, no? It pertains primarily to content of broadcast, while the NTC naman po pertains to the operation of the radio stations. And for this administrative hearing, the allegations center on violation of the authority or permit, stating that they have one of the conditions po kasi of the permit or the authorities given to Suarasug Media Corporation is that they should comply with all the laws, rules, and regulations of the land. And the House resolution states that they've already violated a certain law, their franchise, which is a law. So that is the subject of the investigation naman po here in the NTC.
Sorry, sir, just a quick clarification. You mentioned about influence. What particular influence were you referring to? Ano yung tinatry niyong i-prevent dun sa influence? Influence nino?
On any party side po, so that they could not be, kumbaga parang yun nga po, the main is to prevent escalation of the situation, so that there won't be any other untoward incidents or anything. Yun po lang yung purpose po dito for the issuance of the suspension order.
Okay.
Okay.
Pwede na siguro tayong
then
kumabin
mas
sa ibang
masaya
topic.
Pwede na
question,
tayong
oo.
mag-scam.
Okay.
Kasi sir, it's holiday season. After the SIM registration, akala namin tapos na yung mga scams. But no, up until now, ang dami-dami naming nare-receive ng
Every
mga
day.
text messages every
Every day.
day. Ano na po yung update? dito, sir?
Yes po. Recently po, no, or at least I think around September, we issued another memorandum order directing the telcos to enhance their SIM registration process. In fact, we've provided them with guidelines on how to verify the submitted data or information of subscribers for the SIM registration. And as of, I think, Monday this week, they've already submitted their report stating that they have already complied with the guidelines that we've provided. And recently naman po, based on our platforms, yung mga consumer welfare platforms of the NTC, we've seen a decrease in the number of reported scams. Yung iba naman po kasi, yun, we should differentiate between what is spam and scam. Yung mga spam po kasi that those are unwanted messages from someone, but we could not immediately classify them as a scam message, di ba po? So, yun naman po yun, ma'am.
Pero sir, nare-receive namin mga links ng kung ano-anong nagpapanggap ng mga banks. So I think that's scam. Hindi po ba? Pero
Yung links po, no, we would also like to add, if you're receiving text messages with links, please report it to us po because we've already issued a memorandum to the telcos that all messages that contain clickable links should be deactivated or they should no longer be able to send or one should no longer be able to send any message with clickable links. Those are for person-to-person messages, meaning one subscriber to another. Except only pagka po corporate messages, yun lang po dapat ang allowed na may clickable links sa messages. We're
Okay,
talking of SMS po, your
Share
regular
ko lang,
SMS,
no?
which is
Deputy Commissioner, tama kayo kasi nakakuha ko ng attempted scam text pero hindi ko maklik yung link tapos sabi pa dun sa text na i-copy-paste ko daw yung link. So alam ko na spam.
wait,
Is that what you mean?
tinry mo pa.
Tinry ko. Kinopy-paste ko siya para makita ko.
Ikaw na yung problema,
Oo.
not the telcos.
Yes.
How can people report to you? You said they should report problems to the NTC. How can they reach you?
Yes, we have several portals po for reporting these types of scams. No, we have our 24/7 hotline. It's 1682. They could call and mayroon po mag-pick up po dyan. We also have a dedicated email for this. It's contratextscam@ntc.gov.ph. They could send an email together with the screenshot of their the image, the message that they've received. And then the last one po is they could go to our website at www.ntc.gov.ph. There's a portion there where they could click na for complaints and they could submit their complaints together with a screenshot of the message that they received so that we could immediately act on it and endorse it to the telcos for necessary action po.
Okay, so sir, pahabol pa. Were you able to identify who were the people behind these scams or baka groups?
There are efforts from the law enforcement authorities to identify. In fact, if na-identify po yung perpetrators, they are being filed cases under the SIM Registration Act. But unfortunately, there are also incidences that the registration used was fraudulent or they used fake identities. And so we could not determine the real person, the real perpetrators behind the scams. But that brought about the issuance of the memorandum order, which I spoke about earlier, so that wherein the telcos enhance their SIM registration platforms to prevent fraudulent or fake registrations.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa pag-indulge sa amin ngayong Friday night. NTC Deputy Commissioner John Paulo Salvajan, maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat din po. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Alright, break muna ulit tayo. Right after that, we asked Senator Win Gatchalian about the rumors between his girlfriend Bianca Manalo and actor Rob Gomez. The details when the big story returns. Keep it here.
Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here in One News.
Eto girls, mainit-init pa. Actress Bianca Manalo has spoken up about the leaked private conversations between her and actor Rob Gomez. The beauty queen turned actress took to Instagram to say Rob Gomez and I are friends and co-workers, and that the conversation screenshot making rounds online simply referred to the Christmas gifts that the actor was supposed to drop off. Bianca went on to say that it is upsetting that the conversations were exposed without consent, a breach of privacy which has caused so much online bashing. The actress adds it is obvious that parts of the conversation were deleted to create malicious insinuations. Rob Gomez has also since addressed the controversy, saying his phone was taken without consent, while Harleen Budol dismissed the issue as showbiz nonsense. Bianca is, as far as we know, in a relationship with Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. News 5 reporter Mean Los Baños asked Senator Gatchalian about it this afternoon, and this is what he had to say.
Sir, if you want to comment, sir, if you want to comment lang, sir, dun sa Bianca Manalo issue.
No comment.
Okay. That's all fair, sir. Thank you po.
Akala ko mas mahaba than no comment.
Short and sweet lang.
Oh, napaka-short. But it's fair. No comment is fair.
Yeah, because whatever he says could just add to the whole,
Yeah.
to the noise around this, right? So,
Yes.
baka I don't know, taken out of context or whatever. Or maybe they're sorting things out behind the scenes. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We can
Tama
only
na ang dami ng
speculate.
hiwalayan.
Oh,
Ay, tama na. At saka yun, grabe tong 2023 ha, at may 7 days pa. 8 pala. 8 days. Di ako marunong magbilang. Pero ito sigurado, 3 days na lang. Pasko na! And before we go, our big pictures tonight are kind of cheesy. Something we're used to seeing. All too familiar scenes when we are this close to Christmas. What you are seeing on your screens are the long lines in grocery stores as Filipinos are doing their last-minute shopping for Noche Buena. Baka nga tinake na nila yung life hack na last-minute na mag-shopping. And our second picture. Long lines also spotted in bus terminals across the country as many make their way to their hometowns to arrive in time for Christmas Eve on Sunday.
maybe that's why EDSA has not been as monstrous as it usually is.
All the traffic is at the cashier in
Kasi
grocery
people have
stores.
started leaving the metro.
Nasa NLEX na.
Oo, nasa
Nasa NLEX.
NLEX
A lot
and
of
SLEX.
people nga didn't work anymore this week.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas mood.
Christmas mode. And a lot of schools, of course. Christmas vacation.
Of
already.
course.
And for us, life goes on. The show goes on Monday. But that is it for the show on this Friday night.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night and a great weekend.